Okay, guys, so this is the exact system Dango uses, so you can just copy his strategy. It doesn't only work for fitness coaches like him, but for anyone on X that wants to grow a coaching brand. So, before we go into it, who actually is Dango? If you don't know, he's a big fitness coach in X, one of the biggest ones with over, I think, 800,000 followers. He's generating 5 figures a month at least, I'm pretty sure. But that doesn't really matter. We should know what system he uses so you can implement it as well and start generating more qualified leads for your coaching. So, before we go into content and funnels and everything, we have to know that he has a strong positioning. So his brand is positioned in a way that people trust him immediately, not just because of how many followers he has, but actually because he has the thing sorted out right. So if you start with the unique mechanism, this is something that then goes a bit more broad, but still, he has a unique mechanism that shows who he helps, what he helps them achieve, and in what time frame that happens. And if you then look at how he does it, is most usually not only him but other coaches and people on X, he implements it into his bio. So people know who he is, who exactly he helps. This is this part. And what's his mission, so people can follow him on a journey, not just to consume 5 tweets and maybe even sign as a client and then disappear, but actually follow his journey and what other stuff he has to introduce to them. And if you go to optimized pinned tweet, which is something that people see immediately when they come to your profile, it's something that reflects your whole brand and creates that first impression on you. What Dango has is he actually changes it, I think, every 1 or 2 weeks. But what's important here, right, is that pinned tweet is, let's call it the only tweet that's alive all the time, that people see all the time. So it has to be something that's really strong that gets people interested in your service. So what Dango does, because he has a big newsletter, right, he posts every Friday. What he does, right, is he tries to get people to join his newsletter, where he pitches different things. I think he has like even an affiliate link and his coaching as well. So if you don't have strong positioning, right, people don't even have a reason to first look at your profile, then get interested to hear more about you, and thirdly follow you and follow you along. And then if we go into the most important part, I think, because it includes the biggest chunk of what you should do on X to grow and get clients, that's creating awareness around your product or service, most likely service. And what Dango does here is does it with 6 different types of tweets and threads. That's at least what I figured out after studying him for hours. So I think the most important part, I've personally written like hundreds of threads for my clients as well, and Dango does it as well for his brand. I think like 3 to 4 times a week at least, is threads, right? Because with threads you create so much awareness around the problem you're solving that people simply don't have another reason to not check more from you. So I actually divided this into 3 parts. One is a problem solution thread. He just goes into the problem he's solving. So this is, as far as I know, like fat and visceral fat. And he goes into, the solution for it. So this can be like a step-by-step process. This can be scientific research on how to burn fat and similar stuff. The second one is more like a lesson or experience thread, where he goes into, here for example, he goes into things he wished he knew at 25. So you can like relate to his past. There you can see also that he used to struggle or didn't have the data to grow. And the third one is usually, this one is just a story again, but usually it's just a listicle. So for example, it can be 5 meals you should eat to XYZ, Basically, I think you should always aim to is the outcome they should expect from, applying the stuff. Then the second most important one is the value you give to people. Because if you don't give them free value upfront, they most likely won't imagine what's it like working with you, and therefore they won't trust you as much. So what Danko does here is these visual breakdowns, right? it's simple to consume. It's very short, straight to the point, and yeah, like people have a reason to look at this post because it's just visually appealing. It's a plan, you have steps. Another example, for example, is future pacing, which means that you should present people what it will feel like to already be the person you want to become, right? So for example, if you want to get fit, if your client, for example, your target audience wants to get fit, you should show them what's it like being fit already, right? Or even like it does here, like an end of the New Year challenge. Again, the personality shift. And third one can be a very simple, just a simple listicle that explains, what's it like to lose, like what you have to do to lose weight, for example. And the one that actually shows that you have results is client wins, right? Here you have actually two options. One is just a quick weekly win, for example, like this one, just using the framework before, after, and gap, which I'll go into a second. So, for example, this is where he was before, the one, where he's after, and actually the gap, which is something that most coaches I see don't do, is to actually present your solution, right? For example, 10K people, right, saw his coaching offer. That's something that most coaches don't do. They just don't say that they have a coaching. They give people value, they show some results, but they don't actually, create any urgency or even show people that they have a coaching offer, right? Then if you wonder what's this line, right, it's because here you mostly talk about how we can help others, but if you don't talk about yourself enough, your story behind it, your mindset, you just don't sound like another human being who wants to, not just attract others, but like share experiences with people who want to get where you are. That's why I have to also post, or why Dan Go posts tweets just about, his life, his thoughts, his belief, what he's doing on a daily basis. And the one that I want to start with is so-called good morning post, which is nothing else than giving some quick advice, something that you have on top of your head, quick motivation, a win for client maybe as well. So yeah, this is some examples of how Dan does it. Just a quick, thought you have on top of your head, maybe a quick win you found in your database, or just a DM you got from someone that's complimenting your personality or business. Then, because people want to see, how you did it or how you're still doing it, which means how you're still big, how you're shredded, etc. You want to show how you do it, right? So you should demonstrate, what you eat, how you track macros, so people see you have a system behind, your whole results, how you train, so they can, even try along before they go with your service. And yeah, even your results, right? So for example, Dango's how Dango does it is just sometimes mentioning what he eats, right? Why not? Some people simply don't know what they should eat on a diet to lose weight. Then demonstrating how to perform exercise and even just some stuff from daily life. So it's, again, like I said, more relatable to a normal human being, so to say. And one that's very important in modern world, because people are overstimulated with different, TikToks or Instagram posts or reels, whatever, is to shift mindset of people. So yeah, just like some examples from then. I don't think I have to go into details what it means. It just means that you should present your belief system and share it with people, because at the end of the day they want to have the similar identity as you, and you want to show yours. Okay, and then because people are lazy, they don't take action. At least they don't realize they want to take action even. That's why we have to, push them further sometimes. And these are three ways. One is the direct offer promotion, which is something I already mentioned before. It's just you plug you do a call out at the end of the tweet as an auto plug. The next one is something that you should actually do weekly, because you have, either already written an ebook, you have YouTube videos, free newsletter, for example, something that Dango does with his lead magnets. Often you probably have a workout plan already used for clients, or free meal planner or meal planner used for clients. So what you can do, right, is just transform all of those into a short piece of data that you give away for free in exchange for, first, not only a follow, but second, an opportunity to teach people your service. Okay, like I mentioned with Dango, he does it with his newsletter, where he pitches his service. You can do it, for example, with an ebook. You can just give people away your ebook, DM all of them the ebook, and at the same time ask them, for example, is it something that interests you, to be held by hand through the process? If you, for example, an ebook breakdown, let's just say just a blueprint for the next 90 days to get shredded. And if you do this weekly, right, with different types of lead magnets, and even repeating the same one with a different angle, you can get many people onto your call, where you, of course, close people. And then that's something that Dango doesn't do, or at least I don't know if it does, but I still thought it would be relevant to mention. It's ads, because here's the thing: like most of people, not only coaches but other people, think ads are like very expensive compared to the return of the investment. But actually, I've personally saw some people calling out that you can spend maybe 10 to 20 bucks a day on ads, and in a few days get thousands of dollars back in generated leads, which means, I don't know, booking tens of calls from just you spending 100 bucks. But anyway, let's forget the pricing and everything and go into just a simple framework on how they work. So you call out your audience, you show them you have value for them, and just call them to action. So this is, for example, something that Alex Hormozi did when he started his business, his coaching business, or gym business, whatever he has. Very simple, straight to the point. Of course, you should do it a bit differently now, because this was in 2018 or something. But still, ads are something that many coaches are sleeping on. Maybe even Dango as well. Yeah, and then just we have to convert trust into sales. Again, we have the attention of people. We just need to, talk more about our coaching. And this is again something that Dan doesn't do, or at least I've not actually tried to DM him to see if he has something behind. But you should qualify a new follower with a DM automation, because people follow for a reason. If you don't ask, why they followed you or what they want from you, you don't really know, so you're losing on potential clients. So this is like 2 examples I found. You can just quickly read through them. It's just seeing if people that follow you are following you for a good reason, or just, to maybe farm followers. Okay, the next one is a strategy call, which is something I see some people don't do it. I don't know why. You want to really qualify people before you jump on a call with them, or close them, because you probably don't want to work with people who will be pain in the ass to work with, who will just drain your energy for a few $100 in exchange. So how Dango does it, right? He has a link in his bio, so every new person that comes to his profile can see it. It's like easy to notice, of course. Then he goes to his video sales letter, where he of course explains further what he does, how he does it, for who his program is. And then if he would just, book calls with anyone, he will just spend probably hundreds of hours too much on calls with people who maybe first wouldn't close, or second would be pain in the ass to work with. So what he does is he has a questionnaire with, I think he has 10 questions, but what's important here is to, qualify people before they book a call with you, so you can only talk to people actually, let's say, 80% interested in your service. And the last one that I wanted to mention again is squeezing every cent out of the, the service you have. So how this works, right, is with value ladder. So what does this mean? First, you give people free value, just with content. We've talked about this before. But then you have a low ticket offer first before doing anything else. This is mostly done on school. Can also be done on WhatsApp or even Facebook groups or Telegram groups, whatever. This can also be free, but I think it's better if it's like just 20 or so bucks per month, so you get committed people into it. You still show a lot of value in it. So, for example, meal planners, again, your blueprint to lose fat and everything. And at the end, have like a section where you upsell to high ticket coaching to hold people by hand through the whole process. So this way, you're not only maximizing on making more money, but also like creating even more trust with people who you can then convert into high ticket clients. Okay, so this is the system that Dango uses. If you want to have something similar implemented into your brand, there's a Calendly link at the end of the video in the bio. You can check it out. I have a few questions so I can see if you're a good fit.